veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
hey, welcome back, like literally right back. Put a ring on it. Season 4, episode 6, Double the Trouble. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Alex?
Double the trouble, huh? Double the trouble for who? Which one of these couples?
Well, you definitely got some things going on with Ricky, and I would say also with Zay and with Jasmine. What do you think? Which couples are you thinking?
I think Catherine's doing too much, but I think the
What?
conversation, that Jasha had with his date tells a lot
Mm-hmm.
at the gym when they were at the gym.
Oh, that J. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. Oh, yeah, good point. Good point. It did tell a lot. We're gonna also talk about what you think about. I want to know what you think about why Ricky is so like unemotional and why he can't discuss his emotions and his feelings because clearly he felt something.
Yeah, he did. I think he's in denial. He's trying to protect himself.
Hmm.
Um, but he definitely felt something. You can tell. It's very easy. Just like the other guy. What's his name? The guy that drinks a lot. What's his name?
Oh, Zay.
Zay. Right. You can tell he couldn't even focus on his date. He was so
Oh man,
distracted.
he was all messed up. He
He
was
was
all messed up. Like he could not like. I mean, like if I were her, I know she couldn't just get up and walk out. But she said, she was interested in him, but basically, like he wasn't paying her no attention. So what was the point?
totally distracted. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Monique.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
in. Roro, don't forget Roro
Hey, Roro.
and Kimberly. Kimberly's in there.
Kimberly, where you been hiding?
On the podcast will be that we just got off.
Oh, really? She must just got
Yeah.
back from. She must just got back from Brazil or something. Knowing Kimberly.
She's always on the road, but she's often home too. So she's back.
Okay.
Yeah, Ellen V said, "We back, we back, we back." What you say, Ellen? Jasha is, yeah, he is very, and I'm gonna tell you what too, Jasha and Marcus could, yeah, yeah, okay,
Oh, Marcus. Oh, okay.
yeah, Marcus, yeah, yeah,
For a second, I thought you meant that other bum, the
What's
the the
up?
the, the one that was
I
out with
don't like
Joya.
Buzz. I don't like Buzz. Oh, Jacoby. That's
Yeah,
Jacoby.
yeah, Jacoby. Yeah,
Jacoby for the streets. He for the streets. We saw that, but we knew that the first episode though, because right, all he was talking about was hot and heavy time.
yeah. But you know what? I have to admire his brutal honesty. He brutally honest, but I have to admire it.
Yeah, you know what? You're right because I respect it. I will say that. I won't say that I admire it, but I respect it that he is honest because now if a young lady is dating correctly with data, she's looking to get married or looking to have even a serious long-term relationship, maybe that's not marriage, he would not be the one. He would not be the
Right.
one. And now would have figured that out on the first date because of the way he was moving, the way he's talking. Like, it's all he thinks about is sex and
Hmm.
he's kind of basically seems like to me he's for the streets. And then that other thing that he said on the first date last week, when he said basically that he used to have this thing for taking other men's women. Like what?
Yeah. I think the only reason why he got a second date is because she's trying to get up under Jasha's skin. That's it.
Yep, yep. I totally agree with you. And with that, we're gonna get started for in earnest. So we open still in the thick tension in the air between Catherine and Ricky because, of course, remember now they were disagreeing about whether Kat gives Ricky time to miss her. And Dr. Stacy pointed out to Kat that while all the other weeks before now, that she had been begging, almost, not really begging, but asking Ricky to be honest with her, open up, and tell her how he really feels. But then when he does, then it's like a problem. What did you think of that?
Yeah, that's why he's afraid. You know.
Cause we saw her last week. We saw her jump all down his throat. I ain't gonna put up with you lying on me with this narrative.
Right. She went off on him.
She
So
did. She
so
showed
that
that. She showed. No, I'm sorry to cut you off. She showed that side though, that the guy, what was his name, Corey. That Corey talked about her. That she had
right.
a side where she is very assertive and even kind of feisty. And I forget the exact, what was that word he used? He used a particular word that I thought really described her.
Aggressive, abusive. What was the word?
No,
Verbally.
he didn't say. No, he didn't say abusive. No, he didn't say that. But but he let us know that she has a temper. Let's say that she has a bad temper. She had a bad temper back then, and he was hoping that she had worked on it. But we did get a little view of it last week, didn't we?
You sure did. That's
And
why
so
Ricky's afraid to open up.
right. And so this is the same scene. So like this is like now they've kind of calmed down because we saw last week he got up and walked off. He walked off and I guess he cooled off and he came back to the session. And the doctor made a very good point. Dr. Stacy says to Kat that, listen, if you're going to ask somebody to open up about how they feel, then you've got to be willing to sit in it and allow it to yourself to process it
Mm-hmm.
before you speak,
Mm-hmm.
before you react. Don't just react. Think about it, process it, and be slow to react to it. And this is so funny because this week, this situation that I was in, I did exactly the same thing that she did. I reacted, and I'm thinking about it as we're talking about these people. These are real life. You can apply this to your own life if you really think about it. Because I had a situation, and I unfortunately um, was very emotional, and I allowed my emotions to get the best of me, and I reacted rather than process the information and then respond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right. You
yeah.
lost your cool.
I did, and I said some things that very possibly could be damaging to the relationship to somebody that's very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
Yeah.
have I have to regroup and remember that key information that Dr. Stacy was giving them is that you really want to allow the person to speak. You may not like what they're going to say because if you've been in disagreement with a person for a while and you've been on the outs, you may not like what they're going to say. Your chances are it's a 99.9999999% chance that you are not going to like what you're not gonna like it because think about it. If you are in disagreement with a person for any length of time, they've been stewing in some things and you've been stewing in some things, right? And it's probably not going to be good what they're going to say. So you should really be prepared. And I didn't think about that. So I'm really absorbing this right now for my own situation. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah. So like a DNA test. 99.9999999.
What you know about DNA tests? What you know about DNA testing?
You know what I'm gonna plead the fifth commandment.
All right. So back to the show. Back to the show before we get caught up in something we don't want to get caught up in. So you agreed basically, I guess, with Dr. Stacy that when she was telling Kat that you agreed with her?
Yes,
Doc-
I do.
okay.
I do.
Yeah, yeah, I did too. I did too. I see where Kat, and like I said, I could relate to it, Kat. I really could. If you're out there listening to this now, I could relate to it personally myself. So Catherine decides to give Marcus a second date, and so does Ricky. He gives Sheila. Actually, they're on a third date, so I don't even know they might be going together now. It's a third date. That's almost like you go together, isn't it? You're an
Seem like it.
item. You're an item. You get to 3 dates.
I don't know. Are those part of the rules?
I'm asking you.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Oh, you wouldn't say that?
I would say a third date. You really, really like the person,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
How many days do you have to get to with a person before you're an item?
It doesn't matter if it's 3 or 10. Being an item is a discussion.
Ah, okay. Okay. It's a discussion. Okay, I
Yeah.
got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. All right, so Dr. Stacy announces that all the couples will be dating this at the same time, and the couples that are together, their partners, they will be with other people and dating in the same location. So this is that episode that we wait for all season, right? And though she says that although the temptation will be to check on your partner, the goal this date is to focus on the person you're out on the date with, trust your current partner, and have confidence in yourself. Do you think these couples are going to be able to do that?
Impossible. And we saw that it was impossible for a couple of them at least.
Okay, okay. You're right. So we press on. Ricky and Kat and Ricky are at home talking about the process when Marcus stops by to pick up Kat. And he presses a little further this time. You know, he was very respectful the first date, this Marcus
Mm,
fellow was, right, to Ricky. But this date, when he picks her up in the home, he makes sure that he gives her a hug right in front of Ricky.
mm,
And he's very chivalrous on their way out the door. You know, he catches the door for Kat, you know, things, little things that apparently she's saying that Ricky doesn't do. He's not very chivalrous or gentlemanly like. He lets her get her own doors and that type of thing. And then over on the west side, we see that Jasmine is telling Zay that she is so surprised and shocked that he listened to his date because he can tell her all about his date, about how many kids the date has, what their ages are, what she does for a living, excuse me, what she does for a living. But he never seems to want to listen to her and her needs. What did you think about
mm.
that?
But you gotta remember, Catherine's they also said on their way out the door, told Ricky, "I see you in the morning." So that that's a shot at Ricky.
Okay, I'm trying to remember now. You know what? I'm a little stuck right now. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember
he
the
did.
guy
He,
that
he
she's
did.
with.
He did tell him that I see you in the morning,
See
and they
you.
laughed about it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that was a little. Oh, okay. We're talking about that Jacoby, yeah, right. Because I was getting my guys mixed up. Because I was
No,
thinking the
not
guy.
Jacoby. Not Jacoby. Catherine's date said that this week. Jacoby said that last week. This week, Catherine's date said the same thing.
Ooh, wow, wow.
Yep. Yep.
Mm,
So
mm.
yeah, that one got by you.
Yeah, it did. It did. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder. And so as we continue on,
We
let's
talking
see.
about Zay now. Um,
Zay. Oh yeah, Zay is not giving. Okay, yeah. So and Zay. Oh, this is the thing. So they're talking in who is this? Jasmine and Zay. Zay is not giving Jasmine clear answers because she's asking him, well, why don't you do that for me? Why don't you do that for me? And I guess kind of to the point where I guess he could almost say that he feels like he's being nagged. But I get her. I get her like in her insistence to want a response because men like to play games. Like when it comes to having serious discussions about feelings, about what your needs are as their woman, a lot of times they want to play games, but when they want to get their needs met, then they want to be ever so clear. But when it's about your needs, then now he wants to play these games. And then I didn't like it because at the end of it all, he talked in circles, and then he finally just said, "Oh, I'm tired of talking about it." Like that determines the discussion.
yeah. Well, that's because sometimes, and I'm gonna say this, when you said that when men want their needs met, it's crystal clear because we tend to be very, very simple, not simple minded, but very, very
Both,
simple.
both. Go ahead.
No,
But
no.
both. But
And,
continue on.
but most women like to
Mhm.
talk, okay? And when they trying to get their point across, they tend to go off on a tangent. And when they
Mhm.
go off on a tangent, they lose the man very easily because he's like, "What point are you trying to make? I was lost 5 minutes ago. What are you trying to tell me?" So, women got to be more concise, more precise when they making their arguments. This is what I want. Don't go off on a tangent. Be
Mm.
exact. This is what I want, and that's it.
So you want women to be like men. You want women to be matter of fact. I get what you're saying. So I think it's a little bit of both. But then I think there has to be the desire. If you are in relationship, a man must bring the desire to want to understand. And if he's really not bringing the desire because he's really selfish, self-centered, puts his ego and everything else above his woman, then that's going to be a problem the whole relationship through until he fixes that. That's a he problem. That's a him problem.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you that, yeah, we can't go off on tangents. I will agree with that, and I think you're right that you have to learn to stay focused on what the singular problem is, or the issue is that you want to. But I thought she did I'm gonna say, in this scene, I thought she did a good job of basically addressing the fact that she wanted him. Why can't he listen to her? Why doesn't he listen to her that way? And for me, I guess he didn't really have an answer for that, so he kind of talked in circles rather than say, go ahead.
Say, do you know how sometimes when we're in relationships
Mm-hmm.
and our spouse or significant other
Mm-hmm.
find it difficult to have a conversation with us, but it's so easy for us to have a conversation with our friends? I think
Right.
we just feel a lot of pressure when we're in a relationship. We don't know how to relax,
Oh,
sometimes,
okay. The
you
pressure.
know.
Well, I get it, because, like I said, this week I had this situation, and it's, you're in a relationship with someone, and there's pressure. The more you care for the person, is it? Do you think? Would you agree with this statement? The more you care for the person, the more pressure you're going to feel.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if you love them, you want to see them happy, you want to please them, but sometimes you just don't know how, and sometimes with some people, everything is a problem and you don't know what to say. So you shut down, you get quiet, because you're like, if I say this, that's a problem for her. If I say that, that's a problem for her. So I'm not going to say nothing, So it kind
Mm.
of gets to that sometimes.
Okay. I can see that too. I can see that too. I think that could work both ways. The way you're, it sounds to me like, tell me if I'm not understanding you correctly. It sounds to me like you're saying that in a certain situation, like, let's use Catherine and Ricky, for example. So, like, keeps saying she wants him to open up and tell her how he feels and what he wants. But then when he started talking about it, and when he was expressing himself, she got very irate. And
Mm-hmm.
then she, even at one point in her confessional, she told the audience, he was saying this, and this. And you guys heard him when he said that. And she said all the things that he actually verbally did not say. In her mind, she wrote in and filled in the script and the narrative of her own. Would you not agree with that?
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
She wants him to open up. He opens up and you attack him.
She attacked
So
him.
what do you want him to do?
So, like, he's kind of like in a between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing. I can't say I have any,
Because because
explanation
because
for that.
because when
Mhm.
you're not saying what the person wants to hear, a
Mhm.
volatile person will attack you because it's not what they want to hear. They're not respecting the fact that you're opening up, you're pouring your feelings out. They don't care about that. They care about what they want to hear. And
Okay.
that's where the conflict comes in.
Okay. 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 Now I can see when you put it that way. I can see that. Wow. Wow. That's deep. That's deep. Um. So Marcus and Kat. So they end up saying goodnight to one another, talking about Zay and his girl
Mm.
Jasmine. But Marcus and Kat, her date, they end up going bowling. Kat asked him if he knows what size he is. Oops. He says, yeah, because size does matter. And I was like, amen and hallelujah, brother. Amen, hallelujah. I started waving my hands in the air. Woo!
Marcus Marcus was much more flirty, touchy feely,
Yeah,
assertive. I'm not gonna say aggressive, but he was very much more assertive on this
was
date.
assertive. Yes, he was, and I was
Mhm.
loving every minute of it. I was living vicariously through Cat.
I mean, he licking food off her bosom and all kind of stuff. I'm like, what in the
And
world?
what's the problem? And what's the problem, sir?
Catherine doing too much, Aubrey. She's doing too much.
Wait
And
a minute. Wait. Stop right there before you say your next sentence. You just said that Marcus was being very much more assertive this day. You just said that Marcus licked food off of her top.
she
Okay.
allowed it
So how is Catherine doing too much? That's
because
Marcus. What
she's a she,
why is it men never get held accountable for anything they do?
listen, all Ricky did, and he broke the boundary. The woman fed him off her fork. That's what he did. He came home and told Catherine what he did. She got
Okay.
angry. She said, all bets are off, right?
Mhm.
Now, she out with this guy. He got his hands on her behind. He got his lips on her neck. He's licking food off her bosom. He's doing all kind of stuff, moving
But
her
that's
hair
him.
around.
Everything you said, keep saying it because I can turn the fan on too. But keep saying it,
Yeah,
okay?
you know,
Every single thing that he did. But the problem with your logic is this: you keep saying what he did, and nowhere in this statement do I hear he went too far. He did too much. Nowhere
she's
in that.
allowing it. She's allowing it.
Okay, so is it 50-50? Is it 50-50, sir? Did he do the behavior and then did she allow him to do it? Is it 50-50? Are you going to
He's
at
not.
least are you going to concede that it's 50-50?
No, because he's not in a relationship. She is.
Yeah,
So it's
but
not 50-50.
he's not you know no. He's not in the relationship, but he is aware of the relationship. This is not some side fly by night thing where she's out having a date with him and he doesn't know she's in a relationship. He knows he's part of the show, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
but
so we're not going to assign him any percentage of his movement and his behavior and what he did. It's like all on her. That's how we're
no,
gonna play this.
those are his hands. He do what he want to do, but she has to allow it.
Oh,
But the
he
thing
does
is
what
that
he wants to do, but he don't have to be accountable for anything that he does.
he's accountable. But here's the thing, Aubrey, you're missing the point.
Okay.
The point is, Catherine, I'm very concerned with if she's really into Marcus or is she playing the revenge game right now. Because she said that from the time she found out that the young lady fed Ricky from her fork. She said, game on.
She did. I agree with
So
that. She did. We heard it. We all heard her say that, right? Right, you guys that are viewing now, if you're watching on the replay, we heard her say that, right?
okay. So she's way over the boundary, Aubrey. The dude got his hand on her butt. He got his lips on her neck. I mean, come on now. He got his hands on her knees. She's giggly and acting foolish like a little kid again. I mean, she's doing too much.
Are you jealous that she can act like a teenager again? Are you jealous, sir? What's the problem?
She's doing. Why would I have to be jealous?
Because it sounds like it. Go ahead and read what Takesha, because we're not going to agree on this, so we're going to agree to disagree. Go ahead and read what Takesha is saying on the screen, please, sir.
This is so promoting cheating. If I have to date the other people, obviously you're not it. Oh, it's gone now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Obviously you're not it. If this was real, this would be considered cheating. But because it's on TV, it's okay. These people are weird. Mm-hmm. It would be cheating. It would be cheating.
But okay, now we got to define cheating. Now, cheating, you're gonna say that cheating is somebody flirts with you. Yeah, he went. Okay, I'm gonna say this because unlike you, I can concede and I can observe and be honest about things. Unlike you, Alex. Yeah, he moved too far. But when you say cheating, they were not at the Hotel 6 or Motel 6 having making hot and heavy time. So no, it's not cheating. They're on a show. They agreed to these are the rules, and this is the thing. It can go as far and up to even if they did want to go to the Motel 6 or whatever. Okay, then that's for the couple to decide that they're done. That they're
that's what.
But they didn't. But wait a minute. But what I'm saying is, okay, so somebody here, Takesha's gonna say that that's cheating. I disagree that somebody touching your leg or even kissing you on your neck is cheating per se. When your significant other is right there watching it. This is as far as it's gonna go. So what's the big deal?
Well, Takesha's saying that if it wasn't for TV, it would be considered cheating. If it wasn't for TV,
but
okay,
it is,
that's clear.
It is about TV. It is on TV. So Takesha, that's what I say. It is on TV, and he's right there. He can observe everything that he wants to observe, and then if he wants to start taking her out on dates and bringing her flowers, then he can do that as well. There's a reason why these couples are here. Okay, clearly they're not knocking on all cylinders. Clearly they're not all on the same page. There's a reason why they're here, and you got to take the show as it is. Just like Ready to Love, you got to take it for what it is. Just like Married at First Sight, you got to take it for what it is. So
Takesha says,
and it's cheating.
Takesha says, did y'all hear Crazy Dunbar threatened another YouTube couple?
Oh, wait a minute. And then our very own AT member and moderator extraordinaire says, yeah, that it was K and E. I'm like, oh, wow. No, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, me either. I didn't hear about that.
I gotta go. And I watched their channel. I love them. I love that couple. I love their reviews. They're awesome. They're very talented. But okay, thanks for letting me know that, Keisha. Thanks for letting us know that. Monique says Catherine is very into Marcus. Her and me both. I'm gonna knock her out the way on my way down there to Atlanta. The question is he really into her? Yeah, I've been wondering about that because we know it's a show, and we know that people become on these reality shows become actors. So I've been wondering about that. I think he is attracted to her though.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's just the initial. It's the physical attraction, and we all know, you know, a hard penis is a terrible thing. So that's what that is.
We you know that, but no, we all don't know that because we don't all have those things on us. So you would know. You would know. Well, okay, Takesha, I guess she answered in response to my question when I asked what is cheating. She defines cheating as is going on dates with other people. Period.
Well,
for this show, this is part of this process and this experiment.
Right.
So I disagree with that, Takesha. In any other normal situation, if you're in a committed relationship and you've had that conversation and both agreed to it, then yeah, you absolutely going on dates with other people. I would agree with you. Yes.
Right. But also, you got to consider to what Takesha said, because this is TV, so we know what they're doing. But in real life, anything that you're doing that you would not do in front of your significant other or spouse, that's cheating. If you wouldn't do it in front of them, that's cheating.
Okay. Roro says she agrees with Joya. You're single until you have a ring on it. So does that mean if you're engaged? Does that mean if you're in a committed relationship, you're single? I mean, by law, you're single, but is your mindset that you're single until the ring is on?
Engaged, you got a ring on.
Better, yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying, I want to understand the extension of that. Like, so before you even get engaged, let's say you both agreed that you are committed and you're only to be with one another. So, like I said, it's interesting that everybody has their definition. So let's say that the two people in the relationship should have talks to define their particular boundaries, what they're comfortable with. Kimberly says, yes, I disagree. I have always dated multiples until I get engaged. Last year I was dating 3 guys with my when my current fiance proposed. Girl, that's what I'm saying. Hey, fist bump, so there you go.
Look at Kimberly with her little hot tail self.
Excuse me, sir. Don't be calling my friend hot tail. Y'all the one with the hot fronts or whatever. Frontals.
Kimberly's a player. I didn't know that.
No, Kimberly is a woman that takes getting married seriously, and it's no point in you sitting around letting these Negroes waste your time one by one, months at a time, years at a time, when they have no intention, and they know from day one they have no intention of getting married, being serious, being faithful. So she did what an intelligent woman does, and that was date multiples. I just thought about Kimberly. You could have been on the show Ready to Love because you're very good at dating multiples and collecting data.
Sure is.
Okay, and see, this is it. This is how people have their own opinions and their own feelings. So now Takesha says she doesn't believe in dating more than one person at a time. What do you think, Alex? Do you believe in dating more than one person at a time?
Yeah, it's difficult to find the one if you have nothing to compare it to sometimes. If you really know what you're looking for, because some people have a little bit of what you're looking for, then another person may have a little bit more, a third person may have a little bit more.
Folks, I just want you to know this explains why the divorce rate is so high, but go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of explains that 80-20 rule as well. Nobody's going to be all of what you want. Yeah,
I was just about to say, you're thinking you're going to find some perfect person that's going to be, and I don't mean perfect, like literally perfect, but even if you think you're going to find somebody that's perfectly perfect for you 100%, I think you probably are not living in the real world because you're not going to find anybody 100% everything what you want. No, I don't believe that. I haven't seen it.
Because the problem is we think too much about sex. Dating multiple people don't mean that you're sleeping with everybody. That's not what that means. That means you're going out, spending time with multiple people to see who you have chemistry with, see who you have camaraderie with, see who you have the most attraction with, the most fun with. You collecting the data. But we always go straight to the bedroom. That's not what that's about.
I think you speaking for yourself when you say I always go straight to the bedroom because that's what I heard you say.
No, you didn't. You did not.
That's what I heard you say. You say I always go. You,
You a mess.
you said I always go straight to the bedroom to try them out, and then I find out they only 60% of what I like, so I move on to the next one. That's what
Monique King, help me.
Catherine, I'm taking a page out of your book, Cat.
Monique King, please help me.
You said I always go straight to the bedroom. Ro for real says I wouldn't be locked down. Exactly. Especially a man, because they're so fickle. I wouldn't. You see how they were moving on Ready to Love at the reunion. You see how they were moving. You see how Andre, who knew this woman had 3 babies, 3 kids, and the daddies were not involved, then all of a sudden at the reunion, well, I didn't like that fact. I just don't think that's right. Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, Roro says, I wouldn't be locked down to one person who most likely is definitely seen. Right. That's exactly right. Because men are always out there sliding around, slinging it, being wild and free, trying to impress the boys about how ballsy they can be. Yeah.
You got to remember who we out there being wild and free with. A bunch of women.
And what does that mean to me? How is that supposed to impress me? Because here's the thing. Oh, wait, hold on. Before you ask, here's the thing. As we saw at the reunion, let's go back to Tony, the New York slinger, right? That he was telling each and every woman a different thing, whatever he thought they wanted to hear. So, like, how does that make me feel bad about a woman? You once again, you do this Ron logic where you try to turn things around and you want to make the woman look bad. You want to call a woman a hot tail.
No.
What is it about a man that's a man whore that we're going to excuse and forgive? Okay.
You don't think women are competitors too? Women love competition.
But that's not the point. At this point, we're talking about a person being in relationship with another person. So if we're talking about heterosexual relationships, it's a man and a woman, right? She's not in a romantic relationship with another woman. So what that woman does is on her. But I'm saying you, again, just like Ron, you guys always want to do the same thing and never assign any responsibility. Not 1%, not 10%, not 50%, not 100%.
That's not true.
You not want to assign responsibility, accountability.
So that's not true.
No, it's
that's not true. That's not true.
It is true. You just said it. You said the first thing we do is go to the bedroom. You just
I said, you missed the whole point.
No, I didn't miss the whole point because here's what. Okay, what did you actually say? No. Let's get serious for a minute. What did you actually say when you said that?
I said that just because we're dating multiple people, don't mean we're having sex with everybody. It means we're out collecting data, spending time with multiple people, seeing who we bond with, seeing who we have chemistry with, camaraderie. That's what I said. I said the problem with it. I said the problem with it is that when people hear you're dating multiple people, everybody else's mind goes straight to the bedroom. Like you're sleeping with everybody.
That's when you said that we go straight to the bedroom. Oh, so you were trying to assign it to people's mind. Okay, so now you changed it around a little bit. I love how you did that. You and Kevin Samuels, I swear.
You a man.
And Natasha were you know what? I'm sorry, I can't put that up on the screen. I didn't read that first. Takesha. Well, okay, now she got it right halfway. She said Tony looked like girl. Look like.
And how many times have you heard me say?
Block.
Look at that. Look at that.
You know what? She's entitled to her opinion,
and she's right. And she's right.
Oh yeah, because you think so. But
how many times have you heard me say that Andre was wrong? His 2 left shoes with Jeffrey because he was just thinking with his peen.
I don't remember how many times, but I did.
Yeah,
you did say it. I did hear you say that. That's like the one time. But here again, like I said on this show, you can't even tell me that this man who was doing all this, Marcus, was doing this stuff to Catherine. You can't even assign any percentage of responsibility. So you are not being consistent enough, Alex. You need to be more consistent.
Oh, geez. Okay.
All right. So moving on. We've had enough. Okay. See how I can just turn it off? I learned a lot last night. I learned a lot last night from my boy Blake. Blake taught me about emotional intelligence.
Yeah, Blake was
And I,
good.
and I will not allow you to knock me off my square. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Blake was good. I enjoyed that.
yeah, guys, go over and check out our interview with Blake. We did that last night. It was live. Questions were asked and answered, and he spilled a lot of tea, by the way. So you won't hear it anywhere else. So check that interview out. All right, so we talked about Ricky Marcus. He's touching her. Oh yeah, so I said yeah in my notes that he did put his hands. Talking about Marcus, he did put his hands on her knees. He let her know that he has. Now I thought this was interesting. This does sound like something out of your own playbook. I think he might be from New York after all. He let Kat know that he has a very strong libido. Then Ricky spots them and starts to get upset. I said, Cat, he said, and he tells the audience, he says, Cat is gonna let that man disrespect her man like that. Now, do you agree with what Ricky was saying in that moment that he thinks he feels like Catherine is allowing her date to disrespect him?
Well, that's what I meant by when I said she's doing too much.
Mhm.
Even though we know they're dating, they're trying to experiment and do various things. She
Right.
needs to be very aware that her
Mhm.
significant other is right across the room, and to tell this guy, listen, we on a date. I do like you, but I'm going to be respectful of my man right across the room. Because if you notice, Ricky wasn't touching his date, and this is their third date. And he was being very respectful of Catherine being right across the room. But she
Mm.
wasn't, because she's playing this revenge game. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. I see that. I agree with you, but like I said, where we part ways is the fact that you don't want to assign any responsibility. So I can't take you seriously at that point. Um, LMV, oh yeah, she's agreeing with it. This was a great interview with Blake, and I think I actually like him now. I know, isn't it weird how he did that? Like 87% of my body likes him now. Mm.
87, there you go.
Ah,
Oh, Lordy.
well, at least I didn't say 69.
Right, right.
And that's a little inside joke. You have to see the video to understand. Catherine,
Right.
oh, okay, Monique King. Oh, listen to Monique King. Catherine was so disrespectful. I'd be scared to even play that game with any of my. What you say with any of your guys? Like it's in multiples. Okay.
Well, yeah. All right,
Uh,
Monique.
I mean, yeah, like I just thought about it because these two do live together. That's a point. I don't know. It just seems to me like I don't agree with Catherine. Okay, I will say this. I don't agree with her steps that she's taking, but it's almost like she's desperate to get any kind of emotion out of this man. It's like he must be very stoic. That's the only thing I'm getting out of this is that he's very stoic at home with her, and she just wants to know that he actually cares for her. And so maybe that is missing like the verbal affirmations, the I love yous, the I care about you. Um, Small things like bringing home an inexpensive bouquet of flowers. Doesn't have to be roses because we know those cost a lot if you get them from the florist, but just small things, little things, thinking about her, showing her that he cares and telling her that he cares. I just feel like there's something missing in their relationship and she's trying to get that out of him, and she may have to just determine that he is not even 80% of what she needs and she just needs to walk away from him.
But to Monique's point, Aubrey, the dude walked out. Marcus walked out of the bone with his hand on her behind. Now, how disrespectful is that? Okay. So, but Ricky said something that I think is very powerful. Ricky said, I don't get too worked up about what Catherine's doing. We've been friends for 10 years. Okay. You remember that part?
I do. But
Okay.
the thing about that is, how do you say we've been friends for 10 years and you don't get that worked up? But he's dishonest and
I,
disingenuous because he was emotional at the bowling alley. He
he
was. We saw
was,
it.
he was, but I'm thinking because he said that,
Okay.
maybe they should have just stayed friends. Just because you're close friends and best buddies don't
Hmm.
mean a relationship, an intimate relationship will work. It doesn't mean that. People always say, I want to marry my best friend. I want to be with my best friend. But sometimes relationships and marriages mess up the friendship.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Well, I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, that's something to consider. I mean, I've thought about that too. We've talked about this couple before too, and that things don't look good for them. So that's something to consider. We're gonna move on to. Is it okay? We're gonna move on to Joya and Jasha. Joya and Jasha have their athletic attire on for the gym when Jasha's date arrives. I can't think of her name. Can you tell me? Do you remember her name? Um,
Jason's date.
yeah, the lady.
Oh, oh yeah, that's Big Booty Judy.
Oh, her name is Judy for real.
No, I call her Big Booty Judy.
That's what his woman called her too. She was gifted in that area. Okay, so anyway, his date arrives. I'm not gonna call her that, and she's assertive lady. She's very attractive, and as my co-host has pointed out, because he's always looking, she's gifted in she's curvy. Let's say that. So anyway, uh we skip over. We're going to move forward from there to Jasmine. Jasmine knows that Zay is also, he's gotten ready for his date, and he has a blue suit on, and she wants to know, well, where is he going? And they both are going to, they both claim that they're going to focus on their dates. Naya, who is arriving for is the woman that is arriving for Zay. Naya is dressed in a very sexy, very provocative low cut pantsuit, and she says she's a Detroit girl. Hey, hey,
Mm.
hey! What did you think about Naya, Alex?
Well, like Jasha's date, she's very voluptuous as well, very curvy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very curvy.
Okay, okay. Zay tells her on the date that tells Naya that he has been with his woman Jazz for 3 years and that she's very special. So then now we go over on the other side. This guy named Sean, he's a network engineer. He greets Jazz with flowers on their date, and they are all at the same nice restaurant. And when they walk in, Zay is rubbernecking it, trying to see what they are doing on the all the way on the other side of the restaurant. Did you see
Mhm.
that? Did you see that, Alex?
Listen, this dude could not focus to save his mama's life. Once,
Yeah.
once, once Jasmine walked in with this guy, his attention was totally off his date, which I think is disrespectful for one. Okay, but given the circumstances, this is a very odd circumstance. So I kind of give him a pass. But and I also think in that instance, Jasmine knew he was looking, and she was doing a little bit too much keying and ha-haing. She was doing too much of that because she knew he was looking.
Who talking about Jazz?
Yeah, yeah. So because he was looking, so she was doing too much laughing and giggling and keying because she knew he was looking. Let's be
Okay.
honest.
Right. And so what's your problem?
That's what was ticking him off because he felt like she really into the guy. She's laughing, joking, leaning into the guy, so forth. But she was just putting on an act.
Right, but wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I agree with all of that. Okay, but what did the doctor instruct them to do? To focus on their own current dates, the people they were out on the date with, not their partners in real life, but their dates.
Yeah.
That's what the goal was. So why wasn't he focused on his partner?
And
Like
that's
the
why
doctor?
I
Mhm.
just said before I said everything else, I said his attention went off his date, which was very disrespectful to me.
Oh, to the date. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Because she even said the day that one said, and thank you for that, Ellen. I mean, Monique. That is Brittany. That was Brittany. Uh, Zay's date said that Brittany. She said that she was attracted to him, and I think
Mm.
that she was very courteous about it, but very direct. You always talk about women not direct and succinct enough. How succinct is that to just say, I'm attracted to you? Like she let
Right.
him know, and but he's busy over there rubbernecking, looking at his woman. So like, hey, okay. But he never, I said that Zay never looked back at his date while his woman was there. Sean, on the other hand, turns out he's an international traveler. He's been around the world. And of course, we know that that's something that Jazz likes, because when she went on the first date with her man Zay, they went, out of the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
They
um,
have some things in common too, particularly
yeah, and
they were sharing the deaths of their parents and things like that. How close he was to his mom, how close
mhm.
he was to her dad, and so forth. And they've lost both their parents, so I think that kind of bonded them at that table as well.
Right. Yeah, it did. It did. It did. And Then I say back at the bowling alley, Ricky is distracted. Or wait a minute, yeah. Oh, right. Ricky is distracted by big hands and sexy chocolate Marcus on his girl. Um, and Marcus is actually feeding Cat. And the two of them, I say, they're a mess. They might as well go on and get a room. I think that Marcus did an excellent job of showing Kat what she's been missing, and either the guy, her man, is going to either step up, or she's going to get the courage to say no, and say it's over and move on from him. That's
Yeah.
those are my thoughts on it. Like you said, because maybe they should just be friends.
And nobody wants a crazy, maniacal, jealous person, right? But at least act like it's bothering you. I think that's what Catherine's trying to get out of Ricky. Give me something. But Ricky is so laid back and relaxed with this, oh, we've been friends 10 years. Catherine been putting up with so much for so long. I don't have to show emotion. But clearly he was upset from what he was saying to his date. He was upset about it.
Yeah, he was. He really was. And that's why I say I don't know why he got back in the session. I thought that was very disingenuous and childish of him. So I could see why the two of them struggle in their relationship, because he's not even being honest back in the session. And that's a true, it's no point, people, let me tell you, as a person that's been to counseling and therapy before, there's no point in going to a therapist and wasting your money and wasting your insurance to sit for an hour with a therapist, and you're not going to be honest about every single thing you tell him or her. It's just no point. You're wasting your time, your money, and you're never going to get anywhere. The key principle of therapy is you must come in there and be ready to pour your heart out and be honest about your feelings and about what's going on. Okay.
I think something in Ricky's background taught him somewhere down the road, because we spoke about this last night with Blake when you said sometimes people get hardwired in their youth. And that was very poignant, because I think something happened in Ricky's youth where he's afraid to show his feelings, like it's a sign of weakness or something. Okay. I really believe that.
That could be. That could be. I hadn't thought of it like that, but that really could be. That's interesting. I just something I'm thinking about, and I don't know how this. You're talking about his youth, but I'm also thinking, what about this too, Alex? Tell me what you think about this idea. What is it too that when you're living in a house, and I'm going to say this, I know that different cultures and different communities, because we know America is a melting pot or a tossed salad, however you want to look at it. And we have people from all around the world that live here, first generation, second generation, and so on. But maybe too, another thing could be that if you're living in a house where there's multiple generations, your parents live there, your siblings live there, your lover lives there, children live there, maybe there's not literally enough room in your home to be expressive, if that makes sense, without everybody kind of pitching in what they think about you being expressive. You see what I'm saying? Like I could be upset, and if it's just me and my husband and my kids maybe in my home, I could be upset, and I could find a space, even if I wanted to have a quiet room or go in the basement or whatever the thing is. But if you got all these people, no matter how big your home is, there's always somebody that's maybe digging into your business. That might be another unsafe space for him too, that actually even in his home, he doesn't feel safe to be by himself and to process his feelings.
That's a good point. Because when you're in the household with a bunch of people and you guys are having an argument or an intense discussion, somebody's going to butt their 2 cents in and have an opinion or something. So then you get tugged and pulled all over the place, and you don't know what to feel. And sometimes people just shut down.
Right. And Catherine mentioned that at the very beginning of this season, that his relatives are always dipping into their business, always meddling, always asking questions, and always giving their opinions, which sometimes when you're in a relationship, unless you ask the person specifically, I try not to give people relationship advice unless they ask me, right? And then even then I try to tread very lightly, because do you want the truth, or do you want me to just, pat your back and say, oh, it's going to be okay?
Right. Exactly. I'm going to be honest. If you ask me, I'm going to be honest. If you don't ask me, I'm going to let you vent and not say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably I think what really most people want or need. They really just want somebody to listen because a lot of times I know my for myself at least anyway, if I'm telling somebody about my personal relationship or situation, a lot of times as I'm expressing what has happened and what he did, what I did, whatever, I'm in my mind it's like I'm already thinking, "Oh, okay, an answer will come to me." You know what I'm saying as I'm talking about it. Like, "Oh yeah, this is what I should do next," you know?
Right, right. Hmm.
So you don't really need all the time all this advice. But anyway, Jazz and Sean seem to be enjoying each other on their date, but Zay is really not enjoying his date. And then this is what the ticker of the date is. Zay's date, Brittany, says that um, she, talking about Jazz, is back there, and you keep looking back there. And what does Zay get all hot and bothered for? He's like, "What? Her. Her name is Jasmine. Her name is Jasmine."
Yeah,
And then I'm
he
like,
knew the
"Wait, wait,
camera. The cameras were rolling. He knew that.
I don't know, but I hold on. Let me finish this card, and then I wanna debate that with you. Zay tells her he wants her to say Jasmine's name, but I thought how funny it was and how ironic that this man that wants this woman that he doesn't know from a can of paint to say his woman's name, but when his friend is all calling his woman out of her name and telling her he was gonna lay hands on her, what the hot hell was he doing then?
That part. That
I
part.
I think he was serious. And so to your point, you and I get a different interpretation of this. I really felt in the moment when the cameras were rolling. Yeah, the cameras were rolling, but I think he was really serious about her. He felt that that was disrespectful, but she really wasn't trying to disrespect his woman. She was just simply saying she, which is the pronoun for a woman or a female, she's back there and you keep looking back there like why would she just keep calling Jasmine? And to be fair, she probably really didn't remember Jasmine's name, and that's no disrespect because she just met Jasmine a half a minute ago.
I think Aubrey, in the back of his mind, he knew he had defended her earlier with his friend, how
Yeah.
disrespectful his friend was. That's
Okay.
still that's still in the back of his mind. So he knows with these cameras rolling, if he defend her, she's going to see this footage. And she's
Oh,
going to know that even
okay.
out of her presence, he's standing up for his queen. That's why he did that. That's very calculating because
Oh,
his date was not disrespectful. All she
right.
said was
Yeah.
she's back there. That's all she said. She's back there.
Right.
You staring at her. That's all. How's that disrespectful?
It was not. I absolutely agree. I see what you're saying though too now to the point what you're saying it's a calculation on his part. So that could be true. That could be true. That could be true. But like I said, I just did not. That was just so ironic and crazy to me that he's all up in arms like her name is Jasmine and gonna get a little get his chest all puffed out with a woman. Well, when your male friend is disrespecting your lady, calling out her name and how he gonna lay hands on her, you just sit there and giggle like a little girl. Boy, bye.
Yeah. You see that? I don't agree with that at all. His take
Oh,
on that.
so the man can do some wrong, huh?
He wrong his two left shoes for that one.
So we move on over to Jasha and his date, Big Booty Judy. I mean, the lady with the curves.
Yeah, my
Uh,
friend. That's my friend. That's my friend. Yeah.
that's your friend, Judy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wish that was your friend. She ain't trying to talk to you. You got too many gray hairs. She asked, this is so funny. So over to Jasha and his date, she asked him to stretch her out. I was like, oh my God, these people are getting like straight up ragged
Mm,
crazy. She said, stretch me out. Like, I mean the innuendo of it all.
right. And he was like, I'm not even gonna look over there because I don't want to be turned on.
He did. You know what? I gotta give Jasha credit, like I do, because I'm gonna give it to the women and to the men. I gotta give Jasha credit. He did an excellent job of staying within in respectable boundaries. Like he really did. Like, and his date
Mm,
was like, hot, hot, hot. She was bringing the heat, like really. And
yeah.
and so then Joya, she arrives with Jacoby and she greets Jacoby with a hug. The couples go in, they greet each other. Um, and then finally, the lady say, "Okay, we didn't come here for this. You guys supposed to be in your corner. We're supposed to be in our corner." And so then you see Joya and Jacoby. like they got the legs out and they're doing this full on stretch. She's got a very low cut, like very tight fitted top, bustier top or whatever, athletic top, and she got her legs spread out. And he says, yeah, he makes a very fresh comment and says, yeah, he says, I see why Jaysha kept you around for over 2 years. And then he and Jaysha get into an exchange of words, and it's not quite polite or pleasant, but the ladies kind of get them to refocus back on their own dates because I don't blame Jaysha. Jaysha feels like Jacoby is disrespecting him, and he absolutely is. He
He is.
absolutely,
He is.
yeah.
And you know, Jason said again, he said, listen, if it wasn't for this process, he wouldn't be doing all that because we'd be out here in the street rolling around. It'd be on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So don't no man gonna let another man disrespect him like that. But they on TV, it's the process. Jacoby know he could do better than that.
Mm-hmm. Right. You got, what do you guys got comments, bro? You got any comments for Jaysha and Joya? What do you guys think about them? You think they're going about it the right way? Do you think that that brother Jacoby was disrespecting our brother Jaysha? Because I think he really was. I have to agree with that. I think he went a little bit too far. But we're gonna see how he's gonna cut himself out of everything anyway. Because let's see. So
Did you see how when you see how when for a second you see how when Joya and Jacoby first came in, how positioned Jaysha and his date were. She was actually bouncing. She was in that bounce position, and when Joya seen that, she was like, "Oh, this is what we doing? Okay."
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, she sure was. Yeah, well, like I said, that the producers are giving them, like, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be doing this. You need to be saying that. Like, the dates are going to continue to get more assertive as each episode goes by. So, like, hey, if somebody is sitting in your man's lap the next date, don't be surprised, because it is what it is. And if your man allows that woman to sit in his lap, to your point, like you just said a minute ago about Kat, she allowed the man to touch her, to lick this and that off of her top. There's boundaries being tested. And what is your base boundaries? Do they really want this with you, or are they just going along to get along? But anyway, you want to talk about, let's see, that Jaysha and his date, Brittany is talking to him, and Jaysha says that he's really not sure about this, about children. They're on different pages, and that he may have to let her go. He would not like to. He doesn't want to think about it, but that he might have to let her go. And you said you had some things that you wanted to say about this, about the
Yeah,
question.
I've been saying this for a number of weeks now.
Okay.
If that's a sticking point for her, he doesn't want it, Aubrey. He really just doesn't want it. He said, why can't we just leave things like they are and raise our children together and be a family that way? But what he doesn't understand is that when a woman loves the man, she wants a biological child from the man that she loves, the man that she's with. That's not what Jaysha doesn't get that. Okay. So he's going to just hang on to what he wants. And that's where their thoughts and wants are colliding. And it's not going to work, Aubrey. It's just not going to work.
Oh Lord. Would you read what Ellen V said down in the chat? That right there on the screen.
I think Jordan needs to go away so I can come in. Well, Ellen, you must don't want any more children or any children.
Ellen say she okay with it if it's with Jason. She can work around that. She can work around that. I ain't mad at you because he is foin. He really is. And like I said, I like him and I like Marcus. I don't know if it was a competition. I'm not really sure which one I would pick because I like them both very much.
But it was a very enlightening conversation he had with Brittany. He was very honest with her. And the fact that he was able to say, I may just have to let her go. That got to be difficult to say, but at this point, he's being very honest about how he feels.
And I think he said it, and so we know that he's not just saying it to his date, Brittany, but he's also said it in consultation with Dr. Stacy right there beside his woman. So it's no secret how he feels about having more kids. and that's not something that at this point he doesn't. He seems to be very fixed that he's not going to change his mind. I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right about that. Women oftentimes want to have a child if they're still of childbearing age, and they can reproduce. They want to have a child with the man that they truly love and be with him, be married to him, and have a child inside that marriage. I get that, but she's got to really understand and accept that if he's saying that he doesn't want to have any children, that's what it is. And why are you going to still waste your time in your reproductive years? And you only got a few left with this man that doesn't want any more children.
Yeah. It's a serious thing.
It very much is a serious thing. And so, meanwhile, things are really going left on the other side of the gym because Jacoby is put his size 13 feet in his mouth with Joya regarding kids. He says that there are no real benefits in dating a woman with kids for me. And then Joya is like, she says in her confessional, this is the worst day she's ever had in her whole entire life. Mm-hmm. Like when this man said that he really wasn't into kids and he don't take women that are single moms seriously, I was like, well, wow, he knows that she is a single mom. So like, wow, he really did say all of that.
Yeah. Excuse me, knowledge of self, right? I've said that many times on our podcast. Jacoby knows himself very well. And at first I was like, oh, this dude is an a-hole. And he is. He has those tendencies.
From first date.
Right. But he's being very, very honest. And what he said to her was, if you have a child, to you, that child has to come first. To me, you have to come first. So I come second. Okay. I don't like that position. Okay. And then when the child gets older into their teen years, they start hollering about, you're not my daddy. And I've seen that with my own eyes many, many times. Okay. You're not my daddy. Because they tend to do that when they get mad. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
they're not even teenagers to do that. Let's just say that right now. Because kids that are old enough to compute and know that you're not their biological parent, they will tell you that. They could be 7 or 8 or 9, especially if they just feel like their parents looks like just got over each other and just broke up. They're gonna be liable to say that, right?
And the point is, kids will always pull that out there behind, and he's like, I'm not dealing with that. Period. So we can say that he's an a-hole, but he's being straight up honest with her, much like Jasha is. Now she hears Jacoby because he's an a-hole to her, but she don't hear her own man. Really? Come on now.
I see. You know what? It's in these days, there is metaphors. Yes. Like, yes, that's it. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for making that plain and clear to me. Look at you teaching today. Ooh, look at you. I'm going to have to get you an apple.
Without a worm in it.
I'm not saying I'm not being particular like that. It is what it is. Whatever apple I get, you get. Okay. I'm gonna find one with many worms in it.
Oh my goodness gracious! But yeah, I'm glad you see how I put that together.
Yeah, you did. Because I hadn't thought of it that way. But you're right. I thought just him being an a-hole. But he was being honest and direct. And you're right. She got it when he said it. And she was listening. She was willing to believe him. But she doesn't want to believe her own man. And he seems to be being totally honest. But Kimberly Review says, it's interesting to hear guys speak more about not dating women with children. Yeah. That's a real thing. Like, I don't know if women that have children have just really think that men love that. But no, not all men love that. And a lot of times we'll see somebody like a Dre on Ready to Love that will date somebody and maybe lay with somebody, but they're not going to stay with somebody with kids because that's not really what they want. They want a woman who doesn't have any kids previously so that they can create their family and not have to worry about some other man's child and having to take care of those children too. A lot of men feel that way. Mm-hmm.
I hate the insinuation in that, Aubrey, where with men. Now I'm gonna side with you guys on this. When men do that, the insinuation is somehow because she has a child or two, a relationship didn't work out, she's somehow damaged goods. or the kids are damaged goods or whatever. And I don't subscribe to that theory
Or
because I
broke
was
that the kids are broken if they're in a single parent home. Yeah.
right because I was a stepdaddy and I enjoyed it and I relished in it. Okay, so I don't subscribe to that theory at all.
And there are some men out there. There are some men that will. I used to tell men when I was young and single. I used to tell men that I would meet in the clubs. You know, I'm size 4, and they see how tiny I was and how flat my stomach was because I did all these sit-ups and crunches every day. I used to tell the guys when after we would dance and talk a little bit, and then they say, I would tell them right off the rip. I said, you know, I have 10 kids, and they say, what? I said, yeah, no, I got. I said, well, can you handle it? And it was so funny because literally, even though you could see like the guys were conflicted, you could see it in their face. Like, do I believe her? She's too tiny to have that many kids and she's too young. And then like some guys, I would say, no, I really do. I said, what do you think about it? Can you handle it? Could you be in a relationship with me? And literally it would like kind of divide the real men from the males to me,
Mm.
because some men would just say, you know what, I can't deal with it. And then some men would, you know, like whatever, you know, bring it on, whatever, whatever. We continue to talk. And of course I would later explain to them that I didn't have 10 kids, but I wanted to see right off the rip who it would run away. Like, just get out of here because you're wasting my time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, 10 kids is a bit much.
Well, it might be, but I'm just saying, you see my point. I think that
Right.
sometimes we as women have to use our wiles. We have to realize that we're playing chess and not checkers with these guys out here, to really run tests through them to see where they're really coming from. To see if they're the men that are going to stand over here that say, well, you know what, if she has a couple of kids or even 10 kids, because I've heard of women that have married men that and they've had like 6 or 7 kids or whatever like that, maybe not exactly 10, but there have been men that have accepted the stepchildren and provided and done well. But you have to really, in dating, to me as a woman, you have to really divide the men from the males, because there's a whole bunch of males out there, and some of these males could be 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, and they're just males. They're just grown males. They're not men. They're just grown males. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
You know what? Read what Roro said, because I think that's very powerful as well. Because a lot of women do this. Read it.
Yeah. Roro says Joya thinks that she can change Jasha's mind about having a baby. Get down, my cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I put it back up there, because she had actually made it a few minutes ago, and I came back to it, circle back around to it. Yeah, I agree. I think she really does. She thinks because she's beautiful, he loves her, he clearly cares about her, she cares about him. She does think that she's going to change his mind, but he does seem very firm. It's not even like he's saying like he's 87% sure, like Blake. It's not like he's saying that he's unsure. Hasn't made up his mind, but he doesn't think he is saying that he does not want to have any more children. And I think you're right, Alex. She should listen to him out of respect, like to me, because if you love a man romantically, you also have to respect that man, that same man, especially if you're talking about being married to him. There's no point in marrying a man that you don't respect. That's just crazy. So why not
remember
his honesty? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and remember how petty Charlotta and Otis were during the season last year, and ended up having a baby after the fact. I'm really curious as to how they're doing today. I'm really curious.
I don't know. That's a good question. I see pictures of them, so I'm assuming they're still together, but I really don't know. You know, who knows? Who knows how much of that what we saw with them on camera was real? Were they acting for the cameras to give us more drama? Because he certainly seemed to be leaning toward the abusive side, if you will. You know, in my opinion. But I really don't know. But let's kind of go ahead and wrap this up, because we said we're gonna kind of get on out of here.
Can I address Kimberly for a second, Aubrey?
Can you what?
Can I address Kimberly for a second? Her
yeah,
comment.
go
Okay. She said, wow, it's interesting to hear guys speak more about not dating women with children. And what I have to say to that is, when guys get to a certain age, realistically, trying to find a woman without children, that ship has sailed. So if you really want somebody with no children, You better go back down and find a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old. You got to do what's that boy named Marcus Houston just did, where he married a
Oh,
19-year-old girl.
oh yeah. What in the okay, now I get what Kim Power was saying. What in the Marcus Houston? Yeah, because he married somebody half his age. Like he's 41, 42. He married somebody 21, 20 or something crazy like that.
And
Yeah.
married her when she was 19.
19. Yep, 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 yep. So, well, I have to say I disagree because nowadays more and more women, single women that have never been married are childless and are waiting for marriage, or they're busy building their careers and they just really haven't you know addressed it in terms of having children, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh, my own daughter, a career woman, driven. She doesn't have any children, has never had children. And I know a lot of women her age, a lot of her classmates, the ones that aren't married, for the most part, don't have children. I was just telling you the other day about a friend of hers. That she went to high school with, who is a prominent judge here in Detroit, and young ladies in her 30s and no children, and she's a prominent judge because why? She was busy going to the University of Michigan and going to law school and studying and working her way up and being a lawyer and becoming a judge. So, women nowadays, particularly black women who are excelling in college, university studies, and graduate school, a lot of them don't have children. A lot of them don't have children. I'm not saying all of them don't have children that are single, but a lot don't. So I feel like, to me, it's honestly reversed itself over the generations, the last one or two generations. I feel that it's the women that are single who don't have any children that got to be worried about Tom, Dick, and Harry, who have three, four, five babies by different mothers spread out all over the place. And sometimes they will tell you they have these kids, and sometimes they won't. You'll be in a whole marriage with them, and the IRS will be grabbing your tax returns for child support because they didn't bother to tell you that they got these kids out here. So I think it's actually the other way around, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
I think there are a lot of men out here that have children, that you can say that they didn't wait for marriage and they just got babies all over the place. But the last thing, so we're back in therapy and Dr. Stacy is discussing with the couple. So she gets to Ricky and Kat, and this is where we have the final scene where Ricky is saying that he doesn't feel anything. But I'm looking at him and I'm going, but you're an absolute lie. She could hear you across the bowling alley saying, "Oh, that's what we doing. Oh, you don't do that. What? You gonna let him disrespect me like that?" I mean, well, maybe she didn't because they were kind of far apart, but we heard it, of course, with no cameras. We heard what he was saying, and I guess, to be honest, though, I think Kat was so into what Marcus was doing and all this attention and flattery that he was pouring on her that she really didn't pay attention a lot to what was going on with him. Do you feel that, or what do you think?
Yeah. Like I said, I think Catherine was doing too much in front of him.
And what about
Um,
Marcus? And what about Marcus?
we're not doing that again, Aubrey.
Okay, all right. I guess
but
I gotta be like Joey. I gotta accept that you just ain't gonna never be right.
but but I think that for him to sit there and pretend not to feel anything, I think it goes back to what I said earlier. I think he's afraid to show his feelings, to say he feel anything. I don't know if he feels like it's a sign of weakness, that it's not very manly, or does he feel like he's going to be attacked for feeling something?
Hmm.
But clearly he feels something.
Yeah, he did. He clearly did. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I wanted to say. You know,
Um,
I'm not sure what the hindrance is with him.
right, right. I don't know either what it is. Maybe does he feel like she's gonna use it against him? But then this is the same man that said he's been her friend for over 10 years and he's not worried about this and he's not worried about that. So why not let her know? To me, he could have been very calm and just said, you know what, I did not like the way, to your point, which you had said that I didn't like the way you allowed him to do X, Y, and Z, or touch you so have so much access to your body. I was a little jealous or I was hurt or whatever the thing is. I guess men, maybe black men, don't like to use the word hurt. He could have just even said I was angry, I was upset. Okay, I was upset. I was upset about that, Cat. I didn't think that was cool. Like, I know you were upset about me allowing this woman to feed me some food. So, let's talk about this, because that's the only way they're going to get to it. Like, let's get to it. Like, what is this really all about?
Hmm. I agree. I agree with you. And the doctor Stacy is trying to pull it out of him. I don't want her to have to force it out of him, so he like pretend like he got to cry or something and put on these false emotions. But obviously, she knows there's something deep inside of him that he's not letting out for whatever the reason, and she's trying to get to the reason of why he won't let it out.
Mm. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. And like I said, you got and that's a very good point, that something in his childhood, something when he was younger, maybe has prevented him. He's seen that men aren't respected when they're open and express their emotions. So he feels like he cannot express it. We know also that Catherine, to be fair, Catherine can be rather harsh on him. We saw that the last episode, that she can be harsh when he does finally express himself. So he may be guarding himself from her, being so angry and assertive with him. I said, like I pointed out, I think there's a little bit of truth to the fact that he lives in such a busy household that he really doesn't have a space, literally, not just figuratively, but he doesn't have a space literally to sit in his own thoughts and not be bothered by a sibling or a parent or somebody, while he processes his thoughts. So I don't think that's healthy either. Me personally, I don't.
No, no, not at all. And I wonder, Aubrey, how many women in his family live in his household? If he's in a situation where most of his life he was dominated by women, or parented by women, or told what
Oh,
to do by women. If
oh.
that's something as well, that bothers him.
Oh, now you know what, that's an interesting point. I can see that. Like, well, they said on the show that his both his mother and father lived there, so he has access and experience with his father. But it could be, like you said, sometimes in our community, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes we as women, as Black women, can be strong leaders, and
Yeah,
perhaps his mother is the strong leader of their household when he was growing up. To your point, and I think when we saw his sister talking to Kat, his sister did seem like she was very assertive. So that could really be that he lives in a household full of strong, powerful women who assert themselves easily, and that his voice kind of gets pushed down. That's a very good point.
and not only does his voice get pushed down, Aubrey, but when they do come at him like that, he tends to flee. We've seen that with Catherine. He'll flee instead of sitting there and addressing the issue and going back at her for a resolution. He'll flee.
Yeah, he did that during last week during the confessional. He did. He got up and he left. You're right. He will flee. That's a good point. Boy, I tell you what, we're gonna have to hang our shingle out in a minute. What do you say? What do you say? Aubrey and Magnetic. Aubrey and Alex. What do we call what's the name of our new shop where we do these consultations? I think this is gonna be dynamic. You know what? Now, on a serious note, we'll talk later. On a serious note, that has given me an idea for a new show on the channel.
Is that a fact?
That's a fact, Jack.
Okay.
And with that, guys, we want to thank you for being here, putting up with all our tomfoolery and our shenanigans. We want to thank you for being here. Thank you for last night for being live with us as we interviewed Blake from Ready to Love Miami. Go back and check that out if you haven't watched it. Catch the recap. Make sure you like the video, like this video while you're here. If you're on the replay, could you leave us a comment? We love it when you leave comments. You guys have been doing really good. We want to thank our wonderful members. Roro for real. Kimberly Reviews is in the house tonight. We want to thank LMV and Monique, who are not only members, but they're also moderators extraordinaire. Alex, tell them what you got going on your channel real quick, and we're gonna race on up out of here.
Oh man, I put a new video up there today. It's not a short, but it's a short video about an invention on a car that occurred back in the 1930s, but the invention never took off. So go to my channel, Magnetic Repellent, and look at this short video about a car It's a 1930s video, and it's a very creative invention, but it never took off for some reason. So,
My
yeah,
son would be very fascinated by that. So I got to go over and take a look at it, and I'm going to share it with him so he can look at it too, because he is all about the cars. Being from Detroit, he is all about the cars.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, but that's great. And I tell everybody to go over and watch Blake's interview. And
Yes.
anything you want to say to Blake, leave it in the comments because
There you go.
Blake is a very personable man. He'll see him, and he may want to respond to him.
Yeah, that's it. Leave us your comment. Excellent point, because he was very personable. You know, we got off the interview last night, and he and I were still talking about his new channel. And you guys want to check out his new channel? Go over and subscribe. I believe he's going to be putting something out within the next week or less. It's called Gentleman's Code. That's Gentleman's Code. Go check that out. He is going to be bringing in a lot of men. It's going to be a men's channel. He says he's going to allow some women to come over and have their say. So maybe I'll get a chance to get over there and speak my piece over there. I don't know, but we're gonna see. I'm vying for that spot, and I think it should be very interesting. But he did impress me, and he did surprise me last night. So I will say that I kind of sat back in the cut and listened to you guys, let you guys talk, and then I had to give my words and my questions in there, and I think it all worked out pretty nicely. Don't you think?
It did. It was an awesome interview. I was very impressive. I had fun.
I had a lot of fun too. And he was very personable. I absolutely agree. So Ron, I guess you weren't too far off as I might have thought you were. So thanks for the tip. All right. But we'll see you guys. I don't know. Alex, I guess we will be back here next week because Ready to Love is off for Sunday. So it'll just be Married at First Sight on Sunday. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Those of you that check out the show with Mocha Mima, Seeking Brother Husband, we'll be back with that. And then see you on Sunday for Married at First Sight. And check that out too. Kimberly Reviews and I just did that. We were running a little behind, so we did one earlier today. So go check that video out too. And we'll see you soon. See you in the next video, guys. Love you.
All right. So long.